you get the Colts on Saturday. You got Denver the following Sunday. You do get a week off, Wolf. You get that with the Labor Day weekend, and then
yeah,
see
baby.
you in February.
Yeah,
basically.
right. That's exactly right. Oh my goodness, though. How about Saturday night against the Saints? Your major takeaways, Luke.
Well, you kind of hit on the big one earlier, but I think it's worth repeating because you and I were talking about this on Friday. Who are you watching? Like, who's the main guy you're going to be watching? And I said Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's true. I mean, but we knew he wasn't going to play very long. So it was, and it's funny too. Like, I'm not usually like this, but once he ran that first series, I was like, all right, we can get him out of there.
You're good.
You're fine, Marv. It's not like Kyler's throwing you the ball. It's not like this game matters. Like, I'm glad you got your time and get out of there. But Darius Robinson was the other one that we brought up on Friday. You brought him up, and I thought maybe more than anybody, he stood out on Saturday.
Yeah, it's interesting, Basinonians, as I look at the show sheet that Mel puts together here, I see Cardinals 11-15, and I say, what was the most encouraging thing that you saw? And for me, it was very, very clear the most encouraging thing that I saw, especially when I went back and look at the tape, Darius Robinson. Darius Robinson. He only played 2 series. And I was like, okay, I've seen enough. I've seen enough right there.
So
Darius
is JG.
Robinson,
like,
right?
get off
Exactly.
the field.
Look, he made the first tackle of the game. The first tackle of the game. Darius Robinson's lining up against the New Orleans Saints starting offensive line. And then it comes across the backside tackle, the right tackle's face. And actually, he's from the backside. They ran a tackle zone opposite of him. And he actually made the tackle. Now, the tackle was 5-6 yards downfield for the most part, yet at the same time, he made the play, crossed the tackle's face, made the play, and that I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
To start with Darius Robinson making that tackle. Then he had a great swim move early on. He was one-on-one against Cesar Ruiz, the starting right guard for the New Orleans Saints. Now, Ruiz is a first-round pick back in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, this guy has got everything you need. He's the New Orleans Saints starting right guard, and all of a sudden you had Darius Robinson. Jack the hands on a little bull, and then the pull in the arm over. He swam with the swim move, arm over, just beat him badly. But the ball came out. Derek Carr got the ball out quickly. But, man, that was good.
That was one of the best things because the Saints played their starters. You got a chance to, and the Cardinals really didn't. I mean, the Cardinals sat a lot of guys. So it'll be interesting to see what they do against the Colts. I don't know they're going to play many of them against Denver, but it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys that didn't play. And I'm not talking about Kyler, but like other guys that didn't play, are they going to play at all? If so, it's probably going to be against the Colts. But it created this really interesting environment for Darius Robinson where it's like, okay, Rook, you're going to go against this other team's starters, basically. And yeah, I mean, it's good to hear you say that when you went back and watched the tape, because just watching it live, he looked like an impact player.
Yes, he did. And that was the cool thing about it, Basinonians. I believe he played 9 or 10 snaps. I don't know. I don't have the exact count. I think it's 9 or 10 snaps that he played, and he made a big difference on the majority of those snaps.
And he's only going to get better. This is the baseline. This is the floor for Darius Robinson.
By way of example, once again, he was one of the guys that he got held on Derek Carr's scramble outside of the pocket. It was Darius Robinson who was double-teamed, actually, by 2 Saints offensive linemen. It was the right tackle who actually held him on that as Derek Carr went to the outside. So once again, a situation where he's drawing penalties as well. He just, look, for the start of his career in the National Football League, yeah, man, take that 4-point stance. And he lined up all over the place, too.
He was like somebody took a wrecking ball to the Saints offense when he was out there. Because of what you just said, too, he was all over the place. So he was destructive in so many different ways. And you can't help but wonder, like, did they get somebody that could be destructive in that many different ways for 60 minutes? 17 times this season?
That's exactly what I wrote down, too, Luke. That is very astute of you right there. Could this rookie really come in here and make an impact on this defense, a significant impact Of course, we all know Lawrence Taylor. We all know yes is the answer to that. He could. There have been rookies that have come into the league and played exceptionally well their rookie year. Is Darius Robinson one of them? It's too early to say. We won't know until they start playing real games. But right now, that's a great first step for Darius Robinson.
Yeah, here's Jonathan Gannon on what he saw from D-Rob.
He looked good. I thought he looked good. I watched the tape on that, but I saw him make one play in there. I saw him get pounded down a double, and they didn't move him, so he looked good.
The other thing with him, he's first-round pick for a reason. And anybody that watched Flight Plan saw the behind the scenes of how much and we asked Monty Austin-Ford about it even, he was like, how much were you kind of hoping? That's the famous quote that we played on the show. Wolf or Monty was like, oh, good, Tampa took Graham Barton. That's fine. That's not a knock on Graham Barton.
Right.
They wanted Darius Robinson, and they were sweating it out, and they got him. So that's the benefit of having 2 first-round picks.
Again, too, Darius Robinson, where I really see him excelling is as a 3 technique. Now, I love the fact, based on needs, they move him all over. I love that. That's as long as he can do it, as long as Darius can do it, it's the best thing you can do. Move him all over because, again, you will not know offensively where he might line up. But for me, right now, if I had to pick one technique, one area in which he lines up, it would be the 3 technique. It'd be over the outside shoulder of a guard, whether it's the strong side guard or the weak side guard. Really doesn't matter to me. He's going to be on the outside shoulder of that guard. I love Darius Robinson there. He's big enough to hang in there, and yet he also is really, really mobile. And a 3 technique can be the most destructive force in the football universe. Isn't that right, Aaron Donald?
I'll tell you another guy, and he didn't really come up as much on Friday for a player I'm going to be watching, but I'll definitely be watching him against the Colts with Xavier Thomas. We talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. Here's Jonathan Gannon on what he saw from Thomas, who, in case you're kind of wondering where this guy came from, 5th-round pick this year. So this is another guy that Monty just drafted, and out of Clemson. So playing against a lot of the top competition in college. You mentioned before. You said he was the number one recruit out of high school?
The number 1 prospect out of high school in the country.
He's looked good throughout camp. He had the Cardinals' only sack, and he was just kind of disruptive on Saturday. Here's Gannon.
Yeah, I thought he played high motor, high effort, which was really good to see. I saw a violent edge out there, and I think he rushed pretty good. He was definitely back around the mix. You know what I mean? He caught my eye. Good point, Donnie. He'll have a lot to learn from too. It was good to see him out there lathered up and playing.
I love that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I love that right there because he said, the violent edge out there. You know what, JG? This is the way that he talks. This is the way that he talks, and this is the expectation that he has for his players. Xavier Thomas, that's exactly what he needs to hear. That's exactly what he needs to hear. Now go do it.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.